Ooh, might make your head blow off.
Hey yo, it's a talk show host, Kana Lassiter. Join me for an episode of Relations, the most lit hour of adult conversation.
Hold up, you know you can't forget about me. It's 51 Spade, Alpha Male God, one half of Relations. You wanna hear the truth? Can you handle the truth? It's where it's at, baby. It's where it's at, baby.
What's good? Welcome to an all-new episode of Relations. My name is Kana Lassiter.
Say it with me now. Alpha Male God, 51 Spade, a.k.a. the ninja you love to hate. I'm in the building.
We have two topics in 1 hour, and the first topic is absentee father by force. And the second topic is, should women initiate sex and how? Ooh la la. I'm saving that one for last. Let's get into the serious topic of absentee father by force. It's been a really popular topic because of Kanye West and Kim Kardashian, but also a very, very, very specific.
Popular.
It is. It's on everybody's talking about that because of their situation. I think for me, it's always been a topic because I come from divorced parents. And I hate baby mama drama. So this has always been one of my favorite topics to talk about with my adult friends who actually have kids and stuff like that. So my opinion about it and the importance of the issue, I've always carried a torch for. Before the Kanye West infamous "Where's My Daughter's Birthday" text went out to the world. But now everybody else is talking about it as much as I am and hold a torch for the topic as much as I do because of that situation. So this is coming from me. I don't have kids, but I'm a child of divorced parents. But I want to start out from someone who actually has children, yourself, who is not with your baby mama. How this topic has affected you in a personal way.
I mean, I don't have to talk about it from the perspective of me because I think just in general, when you look at, well, first of all, I'm always say to everybody, you got to be careful who you choose to be with and have children with. So that's first and foremost, because a lot of times just being in lust, and then all of a sudden, you in love and everything seems to be going good. Then you have a or whatever the case may be, and then bam, you have a child. And I think one of the things that men quickly recognize is that for some reason, women start speaking in mine, or this is my child. It's never like an hour. It's never like it's a balanced power. And even for the longest, even going to court and stuff like that, is like the woman ends up with the child for the most part, and then they start making decisions based on that. Now, the only issue that typically will always come up is because once y'all are not intimate no more, and then there's a split, and then there's a separation, and then this person gets a girlfriend and this person gets a boyfriend, you have outside noise that typically comes into play, and everything can go not a little bit left, but a lot left. For me, in the beginning, it wasn't that bad until they got a significant other. And then you also have to figure out how y'all gonna parent together, and that to me is what brings in a lot of disdain and discord, because people parent different ways. A lot of mothers are real nurturing. Most dads are real strict, and sometimes they don't agree on what's best for the child. Grandparents step in, aunties step in. I call them like habitual line crosses. And for me, that was a problem for me, because it's not their child, it's my child. You know what I'm saying? It's our child. So sometimes that interference can have the mother doing things that they probably typically wouldn't do, but the outside influence of either their mom, their auntie, or this and that can cause some disdain. So that's what I would start with right there.
Okay. Interesting. There's only one part of the conversation that you just had, one phrase that rung true, and that's when the relationship between the two parents goes wrong. When the sex stops. That's what I've had the most experience in as far as talking to other fathers who are forced to be absent. It started happening when they stopped having sex with the baby mama.
Oh, for sure.
And often they are using time spent with their child as a bargaining chip. Oh, I want to come get Junior on Saturday. Well, you ain't bought Junior no shoes. I want to come get Junior and take him to a basketball game on Friday. This rent due. I ain't thinking about no basketball game for you and Junior. I'm trying to get my bills paid. So the word absentee is so important to this subject because these are instances in which the child is looking forward to spending time with their dad, which, by the way, costs nothing. It's time that the child is putting no monetary value on the time that he is being able to spend with his dad. However, that time communicates financially to the mom. If he's not doing anything for you financially, then he don't have no time. And that is really, 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 really sad. And I've seen that more often than, he's absent because he don't get along with my mama, or he's absent because he don't get along with my auntie. Most of the time, he's absent because he did not satisfy the mom, the baby mama. He didn't satisfy her sexually. He isn't satisfying her financially, and that is getting in the way of him being present and being a father to his children. And I think that is...
Well, that comes up more than anything.
Right. Horrible. Probably to hear it, hopefully the people who are listening who are single moms who have ever done that, to hear a woman say that to you, I hope it comes through in a way that it should sound and make you feel the way I feel by saying it. I feel like as a child coming from divorced parents, my mom has done it before. I have said something to my mom, and I don't remember what I said to her, but her rebuttal to me was, ask your daddy to do it, or ask him for some money because this A, B, and C. Whatever I needed from her at that time, she threw back at me, you need to talk to your no good ass daddy. Mm. Okay? And see, that's a problem.
And that's the other part right there to me that typically goes wrong. Like if the relationship is going awry, they typically bring in the child and the dad ain't shit. Like you hear that more than often. Mm-hmm. It go from, and I believe one time I was actually talking to one of our guests and they actually brought that up. They said that everybody can't be a Will Smith and have they family intermingling, and asked me why, and I said, well, a lot of times when sex stop or finances is the place, and they even do that in court a lot of times, because I've been to child support court. I've had homeboys that put themselves on child support, but me just paying, like giving her money, a lot of times they consider that to be a gift. They didn't consider that to be payment towards a child. They say, hey, that's a gift. And typically it's just that once you bring in the judicial system, they not on your side anyway. I've heard everything. For one, she didn't even show up at the court. The judge, she shows up, her lawyer show up. I'm mandated to show up because if I don't show up, they take my license. And I'm like, well, damn, you take my license, I can't work. And if I can't work, then how I'm supposed to pay this?
Right.
And then the judge tells me that, well, if you're not making enough to pay what they're requiring for you to do, then you need to get another job. And I feel like it's not fair on both sides, because it's like, I'm not the only parent for the job. It's like the financial burden comes from that. And when you're talking about mothers that start talking bad amongst their ex, which is their baby father, it comes off that way, like ask your no good daddy for this and that. Now, I me personally, I don't like that, because dads are already disciplinarians. So your child a lot of times will take on the reflection of what you're painting them is. So if you keep saying like he's not shit, you be having a child thinking like he ain't shit
for real.
And nobody want to hear our side of the story. Like no one comes to us, and if they do come to us, this is like years later. Like they're a lot older, and then they want to sit down and hear your side of the story. But I don't get no apology out of that. I don't get no, damn, you know what? And on top of that, if the mother paints that version, they don't even get jumped on for painting a version that's not the correct way. I ain't never seen no child go, not from my eyesight. I ain't never seen no child go to their mama and be like, well, you told me that my daddy did X, Y, Z. And that's not the case. It's like they get away with that. So,
but why? That's another interesting question, and it would be for the fathers. If you know, excuse me, if your child is telling you, "Hey, you left me, you abandoned me when I was growing up," but the real story is, no, your mama packed you up and took you away and made it almost impossible for me to be your father. You know, I don't hear fathers saying that either. I see men taking that bullet and saying, well, you know, they mama told him that. So why don't the fathers make the call to the mama and call her ass out? Put her on speaker, have an intervention. Excuse me, but Junior here says that I left him. Did you tell him that you packed him up and took him to Vegas when he was 3? And that daddy had to stay in Florida to make a living? And that's what happened? Like, I do think mothers throw fathers under the bus, but I don't think for some reason, I don't know why it is that fathers back down from giving the mother back what she gave to them.
Well, I'm not going to say they back down, but I will say this. Most men will fall on their sword.
All of them that I know have fallen on their sword.
But for the most part, now you kind of getting out the realm of the child. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna say for me, I gave my kids the opportunity to speak and say how they felt about what happened and their feelings on whether I was there, if they felt I was there, if they felt that I wasn't there. I gave them the opportunity to do that. That really didn't have anything to do with the mother. You understand what I'm saying? Because every circumstance is different. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to get into my personal thing, but it dwelled a little bit over the idea, because sometimes even as a man, like I said, once your baby mama start dating somebody else, there's somebody else in the play. So there are situations, and I think it's like that for not for everybody, but for certain people. The baby daddy and their current boyfriend or husband or whoever don't always get along, and your anger sometimes can cloud your judgment on you not taking care of your child, but you're fighting not only the baby mama, you fighting the
new boyfriend,
the new boyfriend or husband or whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. So I give the child an opportunity to say how they feel, and you can apologize for that. Now, if the mom if you want to hold a conversation with the mom, you can have that conversation with the mom. But 9 times out of 10, we might be so far removed, or we're not even in a space where they're talking like that. And that's why I had to tell this person that everybody isn't always in a space like Will to be able to talk to their baby mama, and they have a clear communication on how they can talk about the kids and how the kids were raised.
But that's the topic, because to me, unless someone's in this relationship is getting their ass whooped, unless someone in the situation is doing something to be a danger,
it could be that too, though,
to the other person, there is never an excuse, ever an excuse to say you can't go spend time with your daddy. There is, it don't care what he did to you. Now, if he punched you in your eye, and Junior coming to you crying, talking about I want to go with my daddy, I could probably understand you saying go to your fucking room while you holding ice on your eye.
But you can still.
I get it. He could. I'm just saying. I'm saying for our audience, there are gonna be some people out there that throw in comments. What about the abused woman? What about the guy that was just a danger to the situation? Let's get them off the table. That's why I'm taking their situations off the table. There are certain circumstances in which your judgment is really clouded, and being abused is one of them.
I got that.
But that's the only reason.
I got that, but that's not even a reason, because there's even reasons around that. You understand what I'm saying? Because I just give an example. If I go get a court order, you would have to give that child to me anyway. Or 9 times out of 10, when people put themselves on child support and do visitation rights, that ain't got nothing to do with what's going on or why my child is coming to me, because to me, that's equivalent to me paying child support and you fuck up the check. You know, because you do have women that's like that. The child support check is coming to them, and then they're still asking for more shit. Can you get them some shoes? And then I'm supposed to say, okay, what happened to the check that I sent to you?
What does that have to do with her not stopping her child from going like I?
Exactly. They should always be able to come to the child to the father. Them being abused don't have nothing to do with that. If they abusing the child, but as a mother who's getting abused, how could you not think that person has a short enough temper to hit your baby? Why wouldn't you think that? That's just a basic question. Why wouldn't you think someone that could beat you down and black your eye? Why don't you think they wouldn't fly off the handle and backhand your child? Well, it's two reasons. One, like most women, and just like you still have to know that person and see what they have done. If they haven't done that already, that's why I said, like, if they haven't done that already, you can't just assume that that's what's gonna happen. You understand what I'm saying? Because some people, believe it or not, may hate their baby mama, don't hate their child. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I mean, that happens. Like there are situations where, or just like a baby mama, they look at their child and be like, you just look like your daddy. You know what I'm saying? So they might have two kids, and this is why the kid is getting treated a certain way, because they have kids from two different fathers, but the child is catching not the fucking that he done anything. It's just that he look like his dad. That's a whole topic on its own. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So I mean, it's certain circumstances. I'm not saying ignore everything, but for the most part, kids talk. You know, most kids talk without saying anything a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, my daddy hit me, or my daddy did this and that. But what you're saying is, even in an abusive relationship, there should be nothing that comes between father and child. He should not be forced. Yeah, you stay on to be absent for any reason. Yeah, you stay observant like everything, but you can't assume and just predict the future. Like, well, should he hit me? He gonna hit the child. Right. That's true. You can't do that. That's true. I just think that, especially for me being a woman, talking to other women, saying, hey, there is no reason at all that you, whoever's watching, if you have child and you're not with your baby's father, there isn't any reason why you should have ever kept your baby away from the baby daddy if there were internal issues between him and you. The child should be totally kept out. But do you think they should keep away from him for financial reasons? I was just about to say that. You took the words out of my mouth. I think that is probably the most common reasons why the women in the audience who are watching have done it. Because I don't think anybody with a child is innocent. There's probably some women out there who could say, hey, I've never, ever kept my child away from his dad. But I think there are more women who have for reasons that they will stand by. He ain't paid rent in 3 years. He ain't sent him no Christmas present in 3 years. Now all of a sudden he want to take him to a family reunion. Fuck that nigga. That conversation has been had. So, but you still over and over again. But you still ain't answered the question. So, what is the question though? Do you think they should keep him away for financial reasons? I think that sucks. Never. And I think that's the most common reason why they do. There's a woman out there who is completely conservative like me, well-spoken, and who really thinks she's a good mom. And she has kept her son or daughter away from their daddy because he failed them in some reason. Not the child. He failed your expectations. He didn't send you the money that he said he was going to send. Oh yeah, Christmas coming up, I'm going to send you 1,000 towards presents. She didn't get it. So now on Christmas Day, her kids can't go to their daddy house because he didn't come through on a promise he made to her. It is absolutely wrong. And I want to appeal to those mothers because everything else they got right. I'm not talking about the mama we expect to be stupid. The one that is, I got you, switching money for food stamps. And we ain't talking about her. Yeah. We're talking about the woman who got her shit together, who believes 100% that she's being a good mom, and it looks like she's being a good mom. But she's making little choices like that with her child, which is going to cause a whole hell of a lot of trauma. That's the person who needs to be listening to this show. That's the woman I'm speaking to. I mean, every situation is totally different, but there is, to me, a point in time where you have to think about the child first. And I know there's women sometimes that even do that. Sometimes if they do have their shit together, they still will send the child because they want they want the child to see for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Whether and to me, that's how it should be.
It should be.
If you feel like your baby daddy ain't shit or whatever the case may be, that's why I'm saying just send them.
Yeah.
You might as well just send them anyway.
Right.
Because a lot of times with financial shit, like there was a situation where I was talking to a young lady and she actually moved from where she was. And the baby daddy wasn't paying, and she was like, well, why should I? And I was like, well, he didn't make the baby. He made the baby where you was at, not where you moved from. So I can't say either person was wrong in what they were saying, because now you're asking the dad to travel where you are thousands of miles away. But
it's impossible for some people.
But he didn't make that baby there.
Right.
So he's saying, bring the child back to me, and you saying, no, I don't want to. I'm staying with my mama. And that's even more of a reason why a man would be like, okay, damn, you are that stubborn that you do not want to at least send the child my way, which she don't want to put him on a plane. That means she got to come there too. And then bringing up the situation of what you were saying about, like, well, he was abusive to me, and that was my thing about that, is like, well, he was abusive to you, but you never seen him abusive to your child. You understand what I'm saying? So you can't just assume that, because some kids, a lot of times, if that's your first child, sometimes a lot of times for men, especially for sons, and that was a son in this case, sons bring out different things in men. So they want you, you look forward to your son. You look forward to spending time with him. You look forward to teaching him sports and having those type of things. That abuse that happened to her had nothing to do with why you not bringing the child to him.
It's just the abuse or anything dangerous is the reason for flight. Okay? Because I come from an abused situation, there's only two choices. There's flight or fight. Okay? One or the other. And a lot of when I mean fight, sometimes that means staying in the situation.
So let me ask you a question before you go further.
Sure.
And still on the abuse situation.
Sure.
You say you was in an abuse situation. In this situation, she considered abuse being slapped. So, do you still stand on the slap that she received and her saying, well, he abused me? Did it happen all the time? No, he slapped me this one time. I don't look at that as abuse. You might look at it different, so that's why I'm asking.
Putting your hands on somebody is abuse, period. A slap, because it starts with a slap and it escalates somewhere else. So if you slap somebody, you're still abusing them. Now, is it a reason to take away their child? No. But that's why I said that's a different... We couldn't go there because...
Is he serious?
Her reaction is warranted. Somebody slaps you, your judgment ain't there. Okay. Because you know why? Your emotions are all over the place. You need to protect you. You're thinking about protecting your baby. You're thinking about what you said. It was the first time. Is it going to be the older time? Is there going to be a next time? You are going through so much emotionally. I cannot intelligently hold that mother responsible for bad choices. Not in that moment. It's too much going on.
No, I'm not saying it was a bad choice.
Yeah.
I just wanted. I was asking for the standpoint. Is a woman, like I said, talking to her. I wanted to get your side of it, because you say you've been in an abusive relationship.
Right.
So you're saying, like, even if it was just a slap and that was just that one time, you're saying she's still warranted not to come back.
She is warranted in the wrong choice. I'm saying that she made the wrong choice by leaving, but I'm saying I can't hold her responsible for that choice because she made it under emotional duress or distress. Okay. She was in a bad place emotionally. In some court cases, if you are not right up here, they don't hold you accountable for the choice you made. So an abused woman who packs up all her shit in haste and leaves the state in where her baby father is because she was abused, I cannot hold her accountable for that. Okay. I can't, because she was under emotional distress at the time that she made that choice. Now, later on down the line, I feel like that choice comes back to bite them in the ass and at least make them question, was that really necessary? But most of the time, I think us sitting in this room knows how hard it is to move just down the street. You got to have a deposit, first and last month's rent.
Well, she went to her mama.
You got to have a U-Haul. But I'm just saying, even to leave where she was and now to go back, you still need thousands of dollars. You need a lot of shit. So sometimes once you make that choice, you can't turn back the hands of time. It's too difficult to turn back the hands of time. Not only do you have to make the choice emotionally, but you also have to make that choice financially. It's not easy.
Well, I wasn't saying for her to move back. Her question was, should she take her son to go see him?
Oh, absolutely.
And I was saying, yes. I understand what happened with you, but you still have to give the father the chance to see his.
It can never be the mother's fault. Never should it be the mother's fault that the father is absent. It should be the father's fault. If the father is absentee, at the end of the day, it should 100% be his fault that he is absentee. It should have nothing to do with the mother at all. She should do 150% her part of making sure her child gets to spend time with the dad. Point blank, period.
So last result, your advice for her. She said she didn't want to go that way. She wanted him to come that way. So where do you land with that?
Well, I land at compromise, and this is why. Let's go back to what I said about the choice she made being wrong, but we can't hold her accountable. That is what the father needs to understand. The baby daddy needs to understand that he put her in a situation that caused her emotional distress. And that if he can't hold her accountable for the choice she made during that time, then he has to do some of the mending. I hit you. I treated you badly. So that's why you left with my child. But what can we do going forward? You can't come all the way here. Let's meet halfway. You can't come here all the time. You come here for Christmas. I'll come there for Easter. That's necessary on his part because he caused her to make that choice. Or he had something to do with her making that choice.
Okay.
That's where I stand on that.
Okay. And she didn't take the child. She was pregnant at that time. So she hadn't had the child yet.
Right.
So it wasn't like he got the opportunity to see the child just yet.
Right.
It was she had the child somewhere else and now making decision on, well, I want to see my child, but wanted him to actually come there. And I was like, well, neither person is right, but I was just painting the scenario of how he could be thinking because he was like, well, I didn't conceive that child. You know where you at. Right. I conceived the child where we're at now.
Right.
So I don't feel comfortable going that way.
Right.
And that's why I was like, yeah, you make a compromise.
Accountability.
And you're gonna take your child, fly that way to see him, even if it's for a day or so, and see what up. Because I was like, at least give him the opportunity. If you think he's a bad guy, let him fuck up. Because just because he's saying come that way doesn't necessarily mean that he might show up. I would never say just because someone's saying that they are going to show up that they will.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? You can call people's bluff by actually just going through with it, and then you
do
don't
your part.
And you don't have to be like, well, your baby dad or my baby daddy not shit,
because your child will already know.
Yeah, you give them the opportunity to fuck it up. Don't take the choice away from them, because one of my biggest things is I'm just saying for me, is a dad, I wouldn't abandon my child because I don't want to have no conversation about someone knocking on my door years later saying I'm your son or I'm your daughter and why'd you leave me? You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So me being in that type of situation, I would have wanted to see my child. I don't know how they could have worked that out. Besides the way I was
accountability. I think if both people held themselves accountable, like even the basic argument, baby mama get in an argument, he ends up leaving. He wants to see the child for the next week. The baby mama's saying no because of the fight that they had. Unfortunately, because of that fight, one of the people have to be a bigger person and apologize. Even if you're apologizing for the sake of the kid. Look, I know me and you ain't getting along right now. I know I did you dirty. My bad. But I want to see Jid. I want to come see my son. What can we do? A lot of times men also, that's what I'm saying. Pride every time. So who's considering the child? Because it's not about the two individuals. It's about, we had a fight. I called you a bitch. I cheated on you. I stole money. I sold the TV for crack. Whatever the issue was. Whatever the argument was. Whatever the issue is, at the end of the day, it's not about what I did. It's about me trying to go to the park for a couple of hours hours with Junior. That's it. That is it. If she could put her pride to the side, her ego to the side, whatever happened last night or last week to the side, she would see that there's absolutely nothing wrong with going to the park with her son for a couple hours. It has nothing to do with the TV or the money or the bitch you slept with. You just want to have time with your son. The father's character has to be separated from the father.
And keep in mind,
Period.
a lot of times, y'all women lay down with these men. So, and that's what tripped me out the most, because like even while you was bringing up the Kim and Kanye thing, is like 1 minute people are in love, and then when children are involved and there's separation going on, this and that, you will swear they don't know each other, because it's like an all-out war. And that's why I'm saying, like, both people will never back down. The woman won't back down because she's gonna feel like she's right. The man is not gonna back down because he's gonna feel like he's being done wrong, or he's being painted as the bad guy.
But I'm gonna play devil's advocate because I'm on the side of the father.
Okay.
But let's take that subject. We all know that every now and then Kanye goes off the handle and he attacks everybody in Kim's family. Just recently now he's attacking Kris Jenner, which is his kid's grandparent. Now let's say that happened today. He goes off on Kris, calls her every name in the book and a boyfriend. Just throw him under the bus. And there's a birthday party tomorrow. These got to be some pretty big people without ego and pride to make sure Kanye gets an invitation after going off on the matriarch of the family, who is also going to be at the party. What I'm trying to say is, it's dead ass wrong to make a father absent. But fathers do have to take accountability for the shit that they're doing. Mm-hmm. It doesn't make sense for you to say, fuck you, bitch, and then can I come to your party tomorrow? Mm-hmm. Yep. Eat my shit, bitch. But what's the address to the party? Gotcha. It doesn't go in the same sentence.
It does when it's like this. What did I just say from the beginning? Them people don't turn into another person all of a sudden. See, the thing that you're forgetting is he's not a different person. That same shit that you saying is the same as him saying George Bush don't like black people. You understand what I'm saying?
He's always
been the same person. It's not like
true.
He turned into some other motherfucker and then he was like, oh, this seems a little weird. No, the shit don't seem weird. That's just who it is. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you're trying to make someone pay for some shit that you already know they've been doing. His character is his character. That still ain't got nothing to do with the child. That's what I'm saying. Like, it ain't got nothing to do with the child.
That's true. I'm just saying that it's hard. I agree with you. I said that first. But it's so hard. It is so fucking hard. You know what? We filmed the show with a couple. We film a show with a couple. Let's say that her baby's daddy came over and her new husband and her ex-husband got into a fight. Her ex-husband is calling the next day to come over and spend time with his children. Well, you just got in a fight with my new husband. No.
Yeah, but that's a different situation.
It is, but this is an example of something that would be hard for her to be like, you know what? My ex-husband's going to come over for a couple hours after they just got into a fight. It's not convenient. It's not comfortable.
Gotcha. Now, this is the thing, though. Should the new husband even be there, because that's not his child? Yeah, and see, this is where...
Should he be there? If he's my new husband, absolutely. He's not leaving.
Okay, but they just got into a fight. And this is what I'm talking about pride and everything that goes on. Because you saw what you just did? You said, absolutely, because he's my new husband. But this is your child. And this is what I'm saying. It's hard for people to separate what's best for the child and what you're talking about. You're talking about your personal consequences of what you have to tell your new husband. You're not talking about, this is my child, that is his dad, and they need to be together. Your new husband,
ain't got shit to do with that.
Ain't got nothing to do with that child. None whatsoever. Yeah, we got into a fist fight or whatever the case may be. But if I'm going to the party to see my child, then everybody is making sacrifices, and the least you can do is navigate it where it's like, listen, this ain't got nothing, y'all had a fist fight, but my child needs to still see his dad. So I think it's best that you not be there. They can still
spend time together. If he's in the custody of
so
her.
what you're saying is the child should remain the priority,
Exactly.
no matter the situation.
Because you immediately said, of course, that's my husband. That's the wife in you that would be talking that way. And that's majority of the time what would be going on. They want to get advice, or the other person is getting advice from their new significant other. Yeah. And sometimes that could be wrong because the child, they don't have the child's best interest in hand. It's not their child.
Yeah, it's true. And I wanted to play devil's advocate for that reason only. Because I have to give credit to what people are going through emotionally, and it makes them and forces them to make uncomfortable decisions. Circumstances happen. Mm-hmm. People fight and people argue, and I just wanted to be on the side for a moment of the person who's actually going through that, the mother who is actually in the middle of a fight with two people she love, or ex or a new husband, or a fight that she's having with her baby daddy. In that moment was the reason why I painted that scenario. In that moment, how could you make the right decision? How could you? You're standing there with a black eye, or your husband's on the floor with a black eye, or something, the aftermath has happened now, and you're looking at the aftermath and you're having to make a great decision for your child in that situation. And how many of us can really say that under that type of distress that we made the greatest decisions? Because I spent a whole portion of this topic attacking the mother, but we can't leave off how hard it is and how much you do have to strip your ego and pride down to be kind and understanding and keep your child as a priority when you're hurt or someone else you love is hurt. It's hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a lot of times before that happens, sometimes you might need to look for a mediator before you can probably even get to that common ground. If it's to a situation, for me, if it's to a situation where neither one of y'all can talk, then someone that's non-biased need to be able to sit down with the father and the mother and get to a clear understanding where now you might have a little bit more clarity than making that decision on your own. Right. And then sending everything else, because all it's going to turn into is like tit for tat after that.
Right.
Because the father's going to feel like, well, you made that decision based on that, so now he might not show up at the next event or whatever the case.
And now that suffers is the child.
And the only person that's suffering is the kid. So you need, if it's cooler heads can't prevail, then someone else needs to step in.
Absolutely. So are we going to wrap up on the topic?
Sure.
So we can go to the next one, which is going to be really fun. So I guess, again, I want to appeal to the type of mother I would be. The helicopter mom. The mom who does have her shit together. The mom who in most situations makes the right choices, but for some reason equates how she feels personally or how she's lacking financially to the time her child gets to spend with her father. Stop doing it. It's traumatic. I mean, I turned out okay, and my mom didn't do it all the time, but just the couple of times I heard her badmouth my dad, or just the couple of times I couldn't go spend time with my dad because they were at odds, I'm proof that there's trauma in that, because I have issues because of it. So I'm appealing to you guys, to those women, for any reason at all, there isn't one, that your child should not spend time with their dad.
Okay. There's three sides to every story. It's her side, his side, and the truth. There's no better way than to break it down to that. At the end of the day, you always want to keep the child's best interest at hand. When you look now, the percentage is probably like 85% of women have the children. That's the reality of the way that it goes, and y'all are pushing forward the generation of what's going on. But a lot of things that's going on with your children, remember that you're raising them in this world without their father, and especially little boys, especially young black boys. They need their dad in their life at the end of the day. So every decision that you make, keep in mind that decision that you're making for them is going to affect how they're growing up. So you need to always keep them in mind and shed some of the ego back. Every situation is different, but there always has to be a clear solution, or being able to try to get to a solution.
Absolutely. So we're running into the next topic, and that is, should women initiate sex, and how? How? I think that's the biggest part of the question. Should they?
Yeah, absolutely. Y'all a woman hear me roar nowadays, so I mean...
You say that, but it takes one good time for a woman to initiate and gets turned down before she probably won't do it for a long time again.
Gotcha. But you know how many times men are turned down for sex? They don't stop.
What the hell is that happening?
They don't stop us. Like I want you to hear what you're saying to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Man come to bed. He trying to get some sex. I got a headache tonight. Does that stop him from fucking asking the next night for some sex? No. You keep fucking pushing.
It's different. It's different because a man. No. Let me tell you. No, it's not. Let me tell you the difference. When women don't want sex, it is usually something physical.
No.
I want my period, or I got a headache. When a man don't want to have sex, is he don't want to get off the game yet, or my mind wasn't clear, or I didn't know you wanted to have sex. It totally went over your head, because maybe we're doing stuff that y'all don't recognize as. That's why we're gonna also answer as to how we should do it, because sometimes I've done it myself. I've thought that I made it very clear that I wanted some dick. And I didn't get it. Mm-hmm. So, so if you do that and then it's not reciprocated, the next day, no, women are different. And let me tell you why we're different. Speaking for a woman like myself, I like when I'm desired. Mm-hmm. I can fuck every day. So I'm doing stuff and saying stuff every day. You know what I'm saying? But when I actually make if I'm like preparing for it during the day, like I'm giving signals all day, I'm getting showered, I smell good way early. Like I'm in my pajamas at 7. It's early and I'm ready. So I'm doing those things, and those things, I mean, normally people eat dinner at 7. Lingerie's not till like 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. So if I got it on at 7, I thought you would know that I'm feeling a little frisky. And when you don't, you think, these things. Did I not look good in what I had on?
Possibly.
Does he not like my perfume?
Possibly. Keep going.
But these are all the things that fuck with women's head after the first time they did it, and then you didn't reciprocate. They just start thinking those things. Mm-hmm. And for the guy, it may have been, I just wasn't paying attention because my homeboy died on this day last year. Y'all don't talk, so we don't know that. We just think you think we look bad. And so we're just not going to put on that lingerie. So we're just not going to do those things anymore, because to us, I think you said the key word, it fucked with our ego.
All right. Keep in mind, there's a couple of things with women a lot of times, and this is probably one of the key things for women. I think if you line up probably about 20 women, even probably 50, all of them think that they are porn stars. All of them think that they pussy got a cape on it with an S, and they shit is the bomb.com. You know what I'm saying? Every one of them. None of them think that they bad at sex. And if we were to start rating some of these women, they ain't gonna come out with some 10 scores the way that they think that they would. And it's mainly because a lot of times there's different approaches to women, just like what you would consider bad sex. Just because a man has a big dick does not equate that it's gonna be great sex. Yeah. And just because you get in a lingerie does not mean that man is gonna be in the mood, or it sets the mood for him instantly. I was told by a woman a long time is sex starts for her from the time they go to dinner, and everything that progress from that gets her in the mood to the point where they actually have sex. And the thing that I think a lot of women miss is it's like that a lot of time for men too. If you start giving off hints way enough and be a lot more flirtatious, and a lot of women are not feminine, especially nowadays, to give off those type of signals. They think they do, but they don't really give off those type of signals. Not too long ago, I worked from home, my lady worked from home, and she started texting me. And we started texting if though we was not in a relationship. You know, she started flirting with me by text, and sometimes that's how things hit. But now, sex is on my mind because she already initiated the idea that she was horny and what we gonna do tonight and how she can do things to me and stuff like that. That little initiation made it in my mind, not that, oh, let me go watch a movie, or we gonna be watching a movie tonight, or I'm gonna get on the game, or I'm gonna do whatever, XYZ. My mind was already on like, I'm finna get some pussy tonight. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes y'all have to start with that. Initiating just because you are a woman, you have to know the right way to initiate with your man. Every man is different. Some men like to be talked to. I thought it was, for me, I was thinking to myself like, damn, she normally don't talk like this. And just the surprise of just the text, you know what I'm saying? And now how we're talking, because typically when you're in a relationship for a long time, y'all kind of get complacent. So anything that can kind of disrupt what y'all normally do could probably get you to the promised land.
The promised land, huh?
The promised land, pushing P. That's all you gotta do, push P.
You know, sex is completely more emotional than physical for women, and so that's why if there's a disconnect when she's initiating, that's why it carries a lot of weight, because she has built up. First of all, I don't think it's very common. Probably the wrong word. I don't think it's very popular for women to initiate sex all the time. In most cases, the man initiates when he wants the woman. The woman flirts back, of course, and then she says back. I don't know, because I'm a very sexual person. I don't initiate that much other than little minor things like, oh my God, you are so handsome. I say that to my spouse all the time. But that because my spouse is very, very good looking. So I might say stuff all the time.
But that doesn't equate to sex. Like,
right,
see how you just said, I say to my spouse that he's always handsome. That wouldn't even equate to sex to me.
I know, that's what I was saying. I was saying that I say things all day that don't automatically equate to sex, but I've been telling him all day that, you know, you're amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like, all day we do that. So if we're giving out that type of energy all day and we're not getting it back, because every time I'm like, you're so handsome, baby, he's not like, you're beautiful. That wouldn't be organic, because just because I'm telling him he's handsome, it's not his time to tell me I'm beautiful. But understand that if I've done that now every day for 7 days and he's not said it back, it's not bothering me. But the sex part, the crescendo, the big to-do, I am expecting it to come from you. I worship you 7 days a week. I make myself available to you 7 days a week. So during that time where I'm servicing you, making your food and rubbing your back and telling you how handsome you are, I'm pouring into who you are. So at the end of the week, fuck, it would be nice to be desired. You want me. You understand what I'm saying? You are, all that time we spent supporting and pouring into you, at some time this is how we receive back. And you know why we receive it that way?
The topic is, how do the woman initiate it, not how.
But it says should is the first part of the question. Should we initiate sex? And I do think we should, but I think that it is more common for a man because a woman is non-sexually initiating all week. All fucking week long. She's initiating.
I got you. And you know what this is? This is this new system that everything...
It's a new system.
It's a new system of everything got going on now as far as women with your body, your right. The Me Too movement, everything, and I'm not saying anything wrong with that, but it has put men on more of a back burner of how they approach certain things. Because even when I looked at not too long ago, it was probably like a couple of weeks ago. I was looking at the Bill Cosby special. They got this special that's on Showtime saying like we need to talk about Bill Cosby. I think it's called like that. And there was a section in there where they was saying that, Bill was leaving breadcrumbs all the time. Like he discovered this thing called Spanish fly, and you put it in your drink, and it's supposed to make them horny or whatever the case may be. And this is for I think around the 70s or whatever this is the case may be. But what tripped me out was the people that they interviewed that was on that shit. They were really like, God damn, you know what? damn, he was putting Spanish Fly in a girl drink and this and that. He should have been on the cover of Spanish Fly, because that would get women to get to have sex. And I was saying to myself, like, damn, this is amazing that the way that they talked about it, they make it seem like he did Spanish Fly to put it in their drinks. But I was like, what's the difference between that and what men would do now as far as like getting a woman to drink to get them drunk? What's the difference between that and then getting them some weed to get them high to try to have sex with them? What he was doing, quote unquote, and what you do now is no different. So now I feel like even the men that was on there was taking a step back to be like, no, you don't put Spanish Fly in nobody's drink. But I'm like, but have you ever gave a woman a drink, like some wine to loosen them up, to possibly think that you can have sex with them? This is how men are starting to think now, to say, well, we need to step back from that shit, because it's starting to getting looked at is rape. It's starting to get looked at is they're taking advantage.
That's not going on in a relationship at that point. The men aren't thinking like that in a relationship with the person they're already having sex with.
But men are going to jobs where they have to watch what they do. They're going different places, so it still puts a pause for that. So now with women, more women stepping up saying like it's their body, they right. We can fuck who we want to. We can fuck multiple men if we want to. We want to do all this type of shit. The men have kind of put the ball in the women's court to say like, hey, when y'all want to fuck, let us know. I'm not saying this, and I'm not saying that it's
so lame.
I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying that is what's going on.
Mm-hmm. I don't buy it. I think that's an excuse. I just don't think you have a good rebuttal for what I said. I think a lot of men are stuck on that. I'll read the comments back.
It's not.
But I don't think.
Wasn't
let me finish. I didn't say you were. I just didn't think you have a good answer for what I said to you. Women are actually servicing their men every single day of the week, making your food, starting your hot shower, washing your back. They are doing things all fucking week long. Now they gotta initiate sex too?
That's not all women. Okay, and that's where you're getting that shit twisted too. So definitely, if you wanted me to break that down, that's not all women. There are not a bunch of women servicing their men. Sorry, they're not doing that. That's what I'm explaining to you right now. You're talking from the perspective that you know how many men that I meet that can't even get a hot meal. You know how many men that I meet.
There's a small
hold on. There ain't no small number, and I'll let you talk because you said it wasn't really a rebuttal for what you're saying. There are a bunch of women out here that don't want to cook and can't cook. Like, what are they servicing? What the hell are they doing? There are a lot of women out here that just can't initiate sex and don't know what they man want. That's the reality of it. Initiating sex a lot of times requires you to actually know what your man likes, what he's attracted to. And not too long ago, I just had to take my woman out to go get lingerie. You know why? Because she got the same underwear she done had in college or that her mama done bought for her friends and got to, and I had to buy a whole new set. Does that sound like some shit that I needed to do? No, I did that shit because you want to have sex the correct way? You want to know what turns me on? This turns me on.
Well,
enough rebuttal for you?
Well, I guess.
No, now it's I guess.
But, like men, and I'm not jumping on men that can't do this, but in the perfect situation, the woman who is the stay-at-home mom, the one that's attentive, submissive, starting the bath water, rubbing the back, making the food every day, telling you how handsome you are, how smart you are, that woman in a perfect world is getting flowers just because it's Wednesday. That woman in a perfect world probably doesn't cook 7 days a week. She cooks 3 days a week because her man takes her out for 4 of those days to dinner. Okay? So in a perfect world, it is a perfect dance because men can afford to express themselves in a non-sexual way. The same way the woman does every day when she's making your food. That is love on that stove, baby. That's the same as laying down and giving you pussy. Mm-hmm. It is the same because she's making it with the same passion and the same love.
That's an equal balance, though.
But that's an equal balance in a perfect situation. Most men can't send flowers on Wednesday. They can send them on Valentine's Day, but not on a random Wednesday just because you've been being the great supporter and encourager at home and you make sure the house is clean. So sex, because it doesn't cost anything in most cases, are her flowers. So I don't think women should ask for flowers.
Got it.
So now we're getting down to the topic. Should women initiate sex? There is a time and place, yes. But for the most part, for me, it's the same as saying, damn, I've been a good wife. Can I get flowers sometime? When I have to ask. So no, I don't want to initiate sex. I want the sex at the end of the week or the sex at the end of the night to be my flowers for all the things I've done for being a good wife.
That sounds good, and I'm quite sure a lot of men would disagree with you for all for all the work that they do and all the bread that they bring home and all the back-breaking shit that they do and the shit that they do across the house, the security that you like, you know what I'm saying, the yards that they cut, you know what I'm saying, the grocery shopping that they gave you money to go get, they would want a lot of that shit too. Everybody got a complaint at the end of the day. I'm not taking away from your complaint on what you're saying, but you also have to remember, because men and women are two totally different species, we think totally different. So that's why I'm saying that you have to also get in the mind in the psyche of your significant other. I was talking to a woman not too long ago, and she asked that question. She said, well, how am I supposed to be feminine? And I was like, damn, that's crazy. A woman actually asked me how to be feminine to they man. And you know why she was asking that? She said, because I haven't had a man in so long. I'm the woman that had to do everything. She career driven, she got kids, there hasn't been no man there, this and that, and now she's out dating, but the dating scene is different. And what did I just talk about in the first segment? A lot of the men that are out now, when she was divorced, but she was married when she was 19 or 20 or something like that. A lot of those men are a lot older, and the men that she's trying to date now are younger. Well, guess who's been raising these men? Her. The women. Yeah. So that's why you ain't getting them flowers and all kind of shit, because you know who taught you that shit? Men. A lot of men, when other men see men like being suave to a lady and giving her the one rose and giving her, that's a man that you see, because that is something that a woman wouldn't actually come up with.
Right. A man would show another man that.
A man.
Or a man would show a boy that.
Yeah. But it's women that's raising these men, so the tendencies that y'all are getting now are the needy tendencies that the women put on the young boys that they raising, and they raise them that exact same way, entitled and everything else. Yeah. So they don't really know how to do some of the things that you would want a man to do.
Right.
So even when I'm asking her that how to be feminine, I'm like, damn, I gotta really tell her that this is some of the things that men like. These are some of you have to dress a certain way, you have to smell a certain way, you have to talk to him, and you have to stroke his ego, and that's probably one of the biggest things. A lot of times women don't know how to stroke the man's ego where he's actually looking
all day,
that no. Everyone doesn't do that every day. You know what I'm saying? Because I think what you're taking away is the women who complain every day. So you're talking in a space where you think that every day that is going on. Now, let's talk about the ones where the man don't want to come home. Yeah, you ain't talking about that shit. The man that come home and is aggravated by his bitching ass woman every day. Talk about that shit. Because every woman is not out here being submissive. You can line about 20 of them up, and they ain't doing none of that shit. They have a fight in the dog every day of some shit that this man is doing that didn't on their nerve that they gotta hear about every day. So the last thing that he want to do is be around you, and now you trying to fuck him.
Well, that's why I said you probably shouldn't initiate, so you won't run into that. If you are actively initiating and the person turns you down, then that's going to leave room for the conversation, because then you're going to ask, damn, why you don't want to fuck me? Well, then that would be your opportunity to be like, bitch, I don't even want to be here. And so that's going to lead into another conversation. If we're sticking on the topic of just sex in a good relationship, if the relationship is good and the sex is normal, there should be no reason, in my opinion, why the woman should have to stroke his ego all week, and then at the end of the week, when it's time for her to get some dick, she got to ask for it.
I mean, I think everybody initiates sex in their own way.
At certain time and place. Even me, I've been in a relationship for 7 years. I can probably count on my hand how many real initiations, but if we're counting how many times I've encouraged or told my man he was sexy or cooked a meal for my man, then I have done it every single day. I've done it all day, every day, me. And I want to give credit to the women who are not counting cooking meals, stroking ego, encouraging, packing his lunch before work. Those are all her ways of pouring into you. And like I said, those men are not going to the florist and sending flowers to the house. So the way to give her flowers is to give her some dick at the end of the night. That's it. And that does not include her saying, can I, or have I, or should I. That includes her just coming to bed and him saying thank you and smashing. That's it. It don't involve her having to ask. Now, should it involve her smelling good and having on sexy lingerie so her man is attracted to something? Absolutely.
I mean, that's what it's always going to boil down to.
Absolutely. But I'm saying that don't discount, don't let her do all this servicing you all weekend because she didn't wear the right color lingerie that she didn't get no dick.
But every person has a dog in the fight. So, and not too long ago, I watched Kevin Samuels and Nicki Minaj on a live. And she said, how often is a man supposed to give the woman sex? And she said what you said, I could fuck every night. And
every night.
And you know what he said? He said, no, a man can't do that. And you know why? He said, because the men that he's talking about are the men who is actually working and they just be tired. And that's why you hear a lot of the men a lot of times with like Bernie Mac and a lot of them was saying like, hey, I got 60 seconds for you. You can either take the 60 seconds
or with them 60 seconds.
Yeah, but see, he's showing, see what I'm saying? See how you switched up real quick? Because see, he giving you dick at the end of the night, but 60 seconds, he's showing his gratitude.
Even roses smell good longer than that. I'll take the flowers.
See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? Now, that's equivalent to a man at the end of the day that don't feel like he's appreciated. The exact same thing. That's why I said everybody has a dog in that fight. Because if you are that woman that's servicing their man and this and that, a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, your man is the workaholic. So by him being a workaholic, mentally he's already drained. And for men, that is where it starts. It starts mentally. So that's why I said you need to learn how to stroke his ego and get his mind out of that place. And a lot of times, if you would do that, then that what goes on. Now we're not even talking about like some of the pet peeves and some of the shit that certain women, certain men have, and women that choose to ignore that shit. Like, I tell my lady all the time not to drink coffee because coffee fucks with me, sinks into your pores and shit like that. And what does she do? Any and every chance she get, drink coffee. And then be talking about why you don't kiss me. This is why I've been telling your ass to stop drinking coffee. Because I'm the person that gotta endure that shit. And I've had trauma as a kid that's dealing with motherfuckers that had coffee, had a teacher that drank coffee, ate cheese, and smoked cigarettes. I don't want to see another woman drink coffee. I'm sorry. It just don't work for me. So no, I don't feel like coming to bed and smash.
All because of the coffee. Now, that had to be touched on because there are things that women could do. Fart, use the bathroom with the door open.
And comfortability. Yeah, they're comfortable.
Yeah.
Because I met a woman that said that she liked the smell of her dude's farts. And I'm one of those people that's like, yeah, don't fart around me. I don't even like women using the bathroom around me. Like, close the door. Like, just because we live together and shit, like, still have some boundaries and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because those kind of, I think, they start to pull over to both worlds. Because, like, you're so comfortable now, it's like...
Acting like a homeboy.
Yeah, I can't separate the two. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, one minute you want me to dap you, and then the next minute you want me to, you know what I'm saying, be all over you. Like, the two of us like, they juggling too close together. I can't, you know what I'm saying? I need some separation going on. So I would often tell women, and there are some women that be like, look, I don't fart around my woman. The lady was like, she used the bathroom bathroom downstairs. That's how much she don't want her boyfriend, I mean her man, to see her use the bathroom here or anything else. And I think a lot of women are not like that. They become so comfortable that they'll fart around them and burp around them and excuse me and trying to make, you know what I'm saying, trying to make that shit seem like it's light. And the man is sitting there like, Jesus.
So you definitely can't be initiating sex, burping, and farting.
No, you can't do that.
So I do think that we do need to. I'll say that even myself. Then it's hard for me to say because I think there's a thin line in a relationship. I think friendship is the most important part of a foundation, and when you become friends with somebody, you don't close the door. When you're somebody's best friend, you can fart. You forget that line, and I'm honoring you. I'm saying that the line should definitely be there and it should be thick. But for me, it's so thin because me and my spouse, that's my homeboy. That's really my dog.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So sometimes when you're around your dog, you do dog shit. And I can understand how that would be spilled into the attraction.
But you're a woman, though, and you still want to keep that in his eye. You want to keep that femininity in his eye. You still want to have that where he look at you and still be like, damn, she's sexy. Like, and you're right, have those conversations, because a lot of times with the conversations I've had with my woman, I'm able to talk to her and encourage her because she works out and she done lost a bunch of weight, and I'm like, damn, baby, you're starting to look good. You're starting to look fine. So yeah, you still got to have those conversations so you know what is and what can light up the other person. And then once I start saying things like that, she was like, yeah, I do this, and now I'm gonna do it more for you because now you starting to do that. And you are right. It still have to be that open communication. Mm-hmm. Farting. No. we can fist bump, But using the bathroom and farting, burping around me, I can live without.
All right, guys, that's the top of the hour for us. It's been another episode of Relations. Are we going to tap in? Do you guys know what tap in even is? That is when you have a personal issue or a friend of yours has a personal issue and you would like us to tackle it. You will simply email alphaMale@spadeperry@gmail.com, and you might hear your topic on the show.
And got to tap in for you. Now this tap in is a little bit interesting. Now the tap in goes like this. I had a young lady who hit me up and she said that she was messing with a guy, that she was over his house one night. And obviously they had already been like smashing and stuff, and his phone started to ring, and she was like, what is that? And he was like, well, it's women that's wanting me to smash. And she showed him, he showed her the phone, and she was taken aback, like, what the fuck? So he was like, yeah, they just smashing, and she said she didn't smash that night, but in the morning when she got up, she said, well, I can't do this. If you're gonna be messing with other women, I can't do that. And she proceeded to ghost him. She said a couple of months had went by, 6 months or whatever, this and that. Then he started reaching out to her and then said that, I want to give up this lifestyle. And she just wanted to be with her. And she wanted to know, how am I supposed to trust that? Do I think that he's being sincere in that? And that's her question.
So do you think the guy who you ghosted 6 months ago for telling you the truth is sincere? I can't say for sure, because there is the guy out there who could smash his way to wanting to be monogamous, wanting to be in something settled down. I was more interested in the fact that he had told her the truth and she left.
Women don't want the truth.
That, out of everything you said, that got my attention because I was excited. She said, what is that? And he said, there's girls trying to have sex with me. Mm-hmm. Here they are. I've had sex with her. Men don't usually do that. He could have said, that's my sister, that's my mama, that's my homeboy who want me to go out tonight. He could have said 1,000 different things, but he told her the truth. And I just don't think that warranted ghosting. Mm. Now, if he's thinking like me, he just want to smash and pass. I wouldn't want to be in a relationship with someone who doesn't want to hear the truth. And for some reason, my spidey senses are going off. I don't think this person is monogamous. That's number one. And I think he tried to have that conversation with her by telling the truth. And this is what I say to women all the time. When you start saying what you won't put up with and what you won't do, you're already giving him an out. You are telling him now that he can't have the relationship he needs with you. What he was trying to tell her is, I like pussy. I like yours, but I like theirs too. And I'm not monogamous. He just didn't know how. So he just was going to let his display on his phone, his call log, show her. And she reacted to it all wrong.
That's where you actually are correct. Because when I was looking at this scenario, I said, wow. Women often say that they want the truth. They get showed the truth, and he got ghosted behind that. And I said, and what's so crazy about that is, if they was out, they already fucking. I'm not sure how long they had been fucking, but what's crazy about that, if she would have went through his phone and saw it, she would have stayed. That's what's so mind-boggling about the shit, because a lot of times when women go through your phone, they be like, who is this and this and that. But she wouldn't have ghosted for that. She'd have wanted answers and everything else. But because she got the truth, she decided to ghost, like, after that, because he was being honest. And like you, I feel like that's some revenge type shit. Because you ghosted him, and I'm speaking now as a man, I would want that back. Because I was honest with you, and you took what I said and decided to run and ghost me and do me dirty and just drop me off the face off the map. And sometimes a lot of men, we do have egos. So I was like, you know what? This is a revenge fuck. He wants to do something to get you back in good graces. Fuck you, then he gonna go
And he's gonna keep doing what he's doing because he's not a monogamous guy, and that's why he told you the truth. Always honor the truth, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kana Lassiter. You can find me on IG and Twitter at Kana Lassiter.
You can find your boy on both platforms. That's IG and Twitter under 51 Spade. I want to thank everybody for joining on Podbean and TikTok. And guess what, y'all? At 8 o'clock tonight, another episode is coming out tonight. So y'all go ahead and subscribe to that YouTube channel so y'all can watch another episode of yours truly tonight. And if you're looking for these shirts, you can get them on my IG. That's Alpha Male God Creation. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to sign us off like I always do about this time. Peace.